The DryConn DBOB-600 and DBRY-600 are UL486D listed wire connectors for use in irrigation and landscape lighting direct bury applications. Both are designed and manufactured in O'Fallon, Missouri. The secure connection is made with a Gorilla Nut cushion grip wire connector. This twist-on wire connector features an over-molded exterior, which eases pain and soreness in fingertips. The waterproof housing for both the DBOB and the DBRY is pre-filled in-house with a dielectric silicone sealant. The sealant surrounds the connection, holds it in place, and permanently waterproofs the splice. In addition, both connectors feature a snap-fit lid to prevent strain on a splice. The installation process for a DBOB or a DBRY is simple. First, you will need to decide which connector you need based on your wire size and application. Strip wires to the appropriate length and make your connection using the cushion grip Gorilla Nut wire connector. No pre-twisting of wires is required. The square-cut edge of our connector spring is carefully designed to grab and twist wires. Once your connection is made, insert it into the waterproof housing and submerge it into the silicone down to the bottom of the tube. Then, split wires and close the lid of the housing to provide superior strain relief. You may notice that other connectors on the market, similar to the DBOB and DBRY, may have a locking mechanism to hold the wire connector into place. King Innovation engineers were able to successfully use basic laws of physics in the design of the DBOB and DBRY to make this feature irrelevant. When the assembled connector is inserted into the filled housing, it is completely submersed in dielectric silicone sealant, holding the connector securely in place. In fact, King Innovation's connectors perform much better when tested for pullout than other similar connectors. Specifically, the average force required to move an assembled connector from the bottom of a DBOB tube up to the lid was 15.4 pounds. Compare this to the mere 14.9 pounds of force required to do the same on a competing connector. When it comes to the larger DBRY, the gap between the two widens even further. An average of 17 pounds of force is required to move the connector from the bottom of a filled DryConn tube up to the lid, whereas a similar connector was found to require only 15.5 pounds of pressure to do the same. When you add in the robust design of the locking lid, your connector isn't going anywhere. As a matter of fact, when pull-out testing the King DBOB and the DBRY to destruction, the wire always breaks before the connector. At King, innovating often occurs in the finite details of our product designs to differentiate us from the competition. The size and volume of the DBOB and the DBRY were also carefully constructed for two reasons. 1, to allow for a low-profile connector that fits into small spaces, and 2, to provide a secure barrier against water intrusion. In fact, our engineers have determined that it is the volume of silicone that matters during UL486D waterproof testing. It was found that the DryConn DBOB has 48% more silicone than competitive connectors. That's 8.5 milliliters of silicone in the King connector versus 5.75 milliliters in other connectors. The difference becomes even more crystal clear in the DBRY, which has 74% more silicone than similar housings, 14.75 milliliters of fill versus a meager 8.5 milliliters. This extra silicone consumes 68% of the total tube volume in the King DBRY versus the competitor's 49%. Which means when you add the assembled connector and close the lid, there is no space for water. The competition's DBRY connector allows water to pool in the top of the tube when fully assembled. In the King DBOB connector, the silicone consumes a whopping 71% of the entire volume of the tube, and the competition only fills 54%. The King Innovation connectors mastered a superior design, resulting in superior performance. One of our core values here at King Innovation is quality is who we are. Whether it's our innovation process, our manufacturing process, our employees, or our combination of all three, we pride ourselves on the ability to design and produce quality waterproof connectors for the irrigation market. We have been doing so and working to get better every day for over 23 years. Here in O'Fallon, Missouri, we designed and manufactured both the DBOB-600 and DBRY-600 waterproof wire connectors. We would love to share our process with anyone who is interested in learning more. Please give us a call at 800-633-0232 to schedule a tour.